When we bring you our show each week, we strive to give you information that is relative to Oklahoma. Well, when it comes to looking up gardening information online, it's also important to get information that's geared toward our state because there's a lot of stuff out there. Well, when it comes to looking up information on trees, I've got a couple of websites that we want to show you today, and I want to introduce you to one of our professors who helped bring these websites into being. This is Professor Lou Anella. Hello, Lou.
Good morning, Steve.
Welcome to our program.
Thanks.
And Lou, here in our department, you are an associate professor, and what all horticulture classes are you teaching these days?
Well, I teach 4 different plant identification classes. I teach a course in public garden management, and I teach a course called Applied Landscape Planning, which introduces horticulture students to landscape architecture concepts and design.
Okay, helps with the design process a little bit. Well, I know back when I was in grad school and I assisted one of your classes, I know that you are a very good teacher.
Well, thanks.
And you have a great interest in trees. You're on the Stillwater Tree Board here. And tell us about a couple of the sites that we're going to be looking at.
Well, we started with a site called OK Plant ID, and that was geared mostly towards my students, but it's available to everyone on the web. And that grew into a new website called OK Plant Trees. And that is like a clearinghouse of information for community forestry in the state of Oklahoma. So we have a lot of different information on there pertaining to trees and community forestry.
Okay, and it's good for information for Oklahoma.
It is. It's geared towards Oklahoma, and it highlights nonprofit organizations that deal with these issues in Oklahoma.
All right. Well, hey, let's go and take a look at some of those sites.
Okay.
Well, here we are inside Laura's office, our studio garden barn, and we're getting ready to go online here. And Lou, where are we going to go first?
okplanttrees.org. That's the main website, and everything can be linked to from there.
Okay.
So this is the home page for that website, and it's broken down into different categories: resources, champions, which lists all the champion trees for the state of Oklahoma. I'd like to look at that site. We have a list of grants, so if people are interested in community forestry, there are grants here listed that people might be able to apply for. And then profiles. We have the Morrison Tree Board. We host a website for them, and the Stillwater Tree Board. So those sites are listed under profiles.
Okay.
So if we look under resources, we have different organizations here: educational resources, consultants, links to international and national organizations, and then videos. Some of your programs are on the video section of this website. And if we go to organizations,
Click on the acorn.
yeah, you see that we have a link to the Oklahoma Urban and Community Forestry Council. And I should probably mention that it was a grant given by that agency that made this website possible in the first place.
One of our underwriters as well.
Okay. And we host websites for the Tree Bank in Oklahoma City and Up With Trees. Now, Up With Trees had their own website, but we now host it for them. But the Tree Bank didn't have a website at all, so I'm really pleased that we were able to give them some presence on the web and help them get their message out.
Outstanding.
And they've got a couple of exciting programs right now that I'd like to show you. Here's their website and all the information about the Tree Bank and how to contact them. But they have a project called Centennial Groves. They are encouraging communities in Oklahoma to plant 100 trees in honor of statehood and call that a Centennial Grove. And so here's a brochure about that program. And then in the future, we'd like to put photographs of Centennial Groves on the website and things like that.
Okay, we featured them on our program last year. A lot of people probably remember that.
And they have another new program. This just came out, just got added to the website. It's called the Centennial Witness Tree Project. And what they're trying to do is identify trees, or have communities identify trees that witnessed statehood. Trees that are 100 years old or more. And again, once we start getting those nominations in, we're going to put photographs of those plants on this website. So those are 2 things that people can really get involved with in their community.
Okay, good way to find some really old trees if you want to take a look at those around the state.
Yes, and so contact the Tree Bank in Oklahoma City for help with those projects.
Okay.
Now let's get back to the home page. Under educational resources, we have OK Plant ID, which is a database of all the plants that I teach in my classes, but it's plants that people can grow in their gardens, and so they can look at that. We'll look at that in a second. Also a link to Oklahoma Proven, which lists all the plants that we've promoted through the years through the Oklahoma Proven program, and an entire book called Putting Down Roots. This was done by Aubrey Hammondtree in the Oklahoma City Planning Department, and that's a great resource for Central Oklahoma. Has pages and pages of information on trees, what trees are recommended or not recommended for the Oklahoma City area, and that entire book is on this website.
That's impressive.
We have the Stillwater Tree Care Guide, and we have care guides, how to plant a tree, proper things like that, how to properly plant a tree from Sunshine Nursery in Clinton, Oklahoma. I just found that they had some of the best information on how to prune, how to take care of a tree, how to plant a tree, and so we've put a link to their website on here.
Okay, some good stuff.
So shall we look at OK Plant ID?
Let's take a look.
It was designed originally for my students, so there's a page there where students can click and they can see what plants we're studying this week, and so it's very targeted for them, and that's very good. And also FFA and 4-H also have their plant lists on there, so the students can really study exactly what they need to study. But if you're at home and just want to find a plant, see what it looks like or get information about it, you can type in its common name or its scientific name. So just for fun, let's type in dog.
Okay.
And see what comes up. Hit search, and we get all the dogwoods.
Okay.
Flowering dogwood, Coosa dogwood, red osier dogwood.
3 different species there.
So if you click on flowering dogwood, a new website comes up
Okay.
with a photograph of the leaf. And it starts with the leaf because that's probably the best ID clue. That's probably the best way to identify the plant. And so that's what we start with. If you look at books or a lot of other websites, they show mostly photographs of a whole tree.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's hard to really identify a plant from looking at a photograph of the
Sure.
entire tree. So we've broken this down. We do have a form photograph, but we also have photographs of the bark, a close-up of the buds, another excellent way to identify plants, a close-up photograph of the fruit, the flower, and then general information.
Okay, so you got sort of a little sidebar menu over there.
Yeah, there's the icons for each of those. So it shows you the common name of the plant, the scientific name, and the family. And there's a nice photograph of the form of the flowering dogwood.
Okay.
And then the bark, real blocky bark. And then at the bottom there, it describes what you're looking at.
Great.
Bud photographs, they're really great for winter ID clues.
Oh, yeah.
So this is the flower bud and the vegetative bud.
I could see that being an outstanding resource if a homeowner has a tree with some bark and twigs that they want to try to identify in the wintertime. Most of the books and things just show the leaves and what the plant looks like when it's growing, but that would be an outstanding tool to figure out what some of those trees are in the winter.
Yes, yep, and there's the fruit, so that would be helpful too. And then, of course, the flower.
Okay, what's the little I for down at the bottom?
Information. So click on that, tells you the best ID clue, ultimate diameter, ultimate height, sun preference, soil preference, things like that. Gives you information about the plants.
Okay, lots of great information.
The next page I'd like to show you is the Champion Tree page. It lists all the largest trees in Oklahoma. And the book was The Great Trees of Oklahoma. We put that book on the website. That is from the State Forestry Department. And if we click on Find a Champion, we can sort. So, for example, what are all the champion oaks in Oklahoma? We hit oak and then hit search. And now it comes up with all the different oaks.
And so it tells pretty much where it is.
I can tell you where it is, yes. And for example, bur oak. The champion tree in Oklahoma is 79 feet tall, has a crowned diameter of 125 feet, etc. And then at the bottom of the page, there's a link to OK Plant ID, the website that we just looked at.
Okay.
So then you can look at photographs and get more information about bur oak. So the website is linked in different ways to just add to the information that's available.
That's a great idea.
The other thing you can do rather than search by a name is click on a county. So for example, if we click on K County, here are the trees that have been identified as Oklahoma's champion trees that are in Kay County.
Okay.
They have the champion Austrian pine, the champion Chinese pistache, eastern white pine, etc.
Okay.
So the different ways.
That's a neat little tool.
And then nominated champion tells you if you have a tree that you think is larger than the tree listed here, how do you nominate that tree as a champion tree for the state of Oklahoma?
Okay, great. Okay, well, I think that is a wonderful program. And Lou, I appreciate you showing us these websites. I think it is just an outstanding resource or tool for the folks here in Oklahoma, because it's a site about trees for Oklahoma, put together by Oklahomans. So I think it's an excellent tool.
Well, great. Thanks. I hope people can use it and find it fun.
Okay.